The S-Type from Borla should appeal to the 11 to 14 V6 owners out there looking for a solid bump in volume over the factory system, but really don't want to be the loudest car on the block. Now the S-Type will really hang on to that nice deep 3.7 tone while adding a little bit of pop and backfire in between shifts and coming down off the revs, which some owners might like, others might not. Prospective buyers can look forward to premium build quality and materials here, including 304 grade stainless throughout for the high $700 price tag. Installation is going to get a very simple 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter from me when it does come time to break that down later in the video. Now, for as long as I can remember, Borla has been one of the favorites with Mustang owners in the aftermarket exhaust category for a number of different reasons, but it mainly just boils down to grabbing a high quality premium system, some unique tone, and a wide variety of options depending on your gen. For the S197 V6, you're looking at the touring on the more mild side of things. The S-Type is going to land right in the middle in regards to overall aggressiveness. And then last but not least, you have the Attack, which is definitely the company's loudest offering. But since this video is about the S-Type after all, let's focus in on the sound you can expect when bolting this thing up. And honestly guys, you heard the sound clips, and I'll tell you, for being Borla's middle of the road offering, you are still getting plenty of volume from this thing. So going to my tried and true Wake the Neighbor scale, I have this system coming in at a very strong 3 out of 5 on my 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Inside the car, on the other hand, things are relatively quiet, and Borla admittedly is one of the best at reducing drone, and the same can be said here for the S-Type axleback. But one of the things I enjoy the most about the S-Type system here from Borla is that it maintains that nice deep tone and the overall kind of character of the 3.7. Listen, I've heard a lot of crappy V6 engines in my day, and I'm happy to say the 3.7 is certainly not one of them. In fact, I really enjoy the tone from that particular power plant. I think the S-Type just gives it a little bit more of a voice without adding any rasp or any unwanted characteristics. Now, the catback version of this system is going to give it just a little bit more volume, but really not all that much, while just giving it a little bit more of a higher pitched tone overall. The axleback here, on the other hand, is just going to maintain that deeper tone overall, while keeping the volume just a little bit more in check compared to the catback. But let's talk about how the S-Type gets its aggressive tone, and really it's no secret, any aftermarket exhaust system, it all starts with the muffler. And as is the case here, you're getting Borla's S-Type or Stinger mufflers. They are straight through by design. It does take a turn inside of the muffler itself, but it's very minor. No baffling or anything to get in the way, kind of keeping up that volume and keeping up that flow over the factory cans you will be replacing. And after all, this is Borla, right? So you're getting very high quality stuff, 304 grade stainless steel throughout, guys, including the small amount of mandrel bent tubing, the S-Type mufflers, and then finally the 4.5-inch polished tips embossed with that Borla logo. But for those who are familiar with Borla, you know that quality doesn't always come cheap, and that certainly is the case here with the S-Type axleback, as you will be dropping just south of $800 to get this thing on your V6. Interestingly enough though, guys, this is the most affordable system in Borla's lineup for your S197 V6. The Attack we just talked about, which was a little bit louder than this system, is going to cost you just north of $800, and the Touring system, which is the milder of the 3 options, is going to be just north of the $900 mark. Well, let's shift gears and talk about the installation with the S-Type, and as I pointed out at the very top of this video, axlebacks on the S197 are a complete walk in the park. So again, 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty is what you can expect here. Anywhere from an hour or 2 from start to finish, depending on your skill set and your setup, is what you can basically expect. Tool list for this install, very simple. Again, just a basic socket set is really all you need to get these guys in place. I always like to recommend a little spray lubricant, including PV Blast, WD-40, or whatever, just to help you with some rusty bolts and those rubber exhaust hangers. Last but not least, guys, obviously this is done underneath the car, so just make sure you have a lift, jack and jack stands, or race ramps ready to go. Getting started, you'll need to remove those factory mufflers first, so go ahead and remove that factory clamp closest to the muffler, in addition to removing some of the bolts at the hanger, allowing you to drop the entire muffler assembly down in one piece. Once those stockers are out of the way, transfer the hangers over to the new S-Type mufflers and then lift the mufflers into place, securing them with a few bolts at the hanger to the chassis. With the mufflers loosely hanging in place, go ahead and reinstall that clamp nearest the muffler and snug it up, but don't over tighten it right now. as you will need to make some small adjustments with those tips. Have a buddy position the tip exactly where you want it in the rear bumper, and at this point you can hammer home that rear clamp, tighten up the rest of your bolts, and your installation is complete. If you want a premium axle back for that S197 V6 that will deliver just the right amount of volume with no drone, you'll have to check out the Borla S-Type axle back right here at AmericanMuscle.com.